All right. Oh, let me bring up Cameron. So that was a piece titled Elements. It was choreographed by Danielle Swatsy, and Carrie Garrett, and directed by Carrie Garrett as well. And so my colleague Marquise, he is a multidisciplinary artist. And so I wanted to share that piece with you guys. Interpret it how you will. For me, it was very, very beautiful in terms of like connecting with the elements. And I think that that's just something when it comes to our diaspora, and the essence of our spirit and the different things that we carry culturally, that really resonate with us. And so now I have Cameron Jenkins here. Thank you so much for joining us, to talk about himself and his artwork. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and some of the pieces that.
All right, yeah, my name's Cameron Jenkins. I appreciate you having me on here, Sade. I'm a fine artist, graphic designer, videographer, kind of all over the place when it comes to storytelling and just creating. I'm a creative who loves to just get his hands kind of in everything. So again, I appreciate you having me here, Sade, to be able to share some of my stories. I can't even talk. But yeah, so like I said, I'm a fine artist. A lot of the work that I do, it's weird, my story, like when it comes to like coming into the art world, because I was creating and really big into cartoons and comics, just like really on some nerd stuff, like back in the day, like when I was getting into the whole art thing. And I never really had any direction. I was kind of just drawing cartoons, comic stuff, whatever. And dealing with life. So it's like, in high school, I was still painting and stuff like that, but I didn't still have my style or really, again, direction what I was doing. And I was kind of bouncing all over the schools when it came to college. And I had gone through like depressions, dealing with just a lot of, when you're just young, figuring yourself out, everything like that. And I had just really wanted a way to channel how I was feeling in my life. And, I used the art as almost like therapy. And I think I had to be almost about like maybe 19, 20 around this time. I'm 25 right now. And, it was this time when I was like, I was making a lot of artwork. And on top of that, I wasn't sharing it with anybody. So, I was pouring like, these pieces were like me naked pretty much, emotionally. So it's like, if I'm sitting around talking with my boys and stuff like that, and we're telling each other our lives, like, we were really, this group of friends I was with for almost like, I mean, they're some of my best friends now, of almost like 4 to 5 years, and just within this period, I was making so much artwork that was so personal to my life. It was almost kind of like I was unconsciously doing this. So, I'd share these pieces with my class because they were like assignments, and a lot of people in there were kind of taken back because I was really, really sharing myself. Like I didn't let anything like there was nothing that was off the table when it came to when I was making these works, and I was realizing how powerful the stories, like how important the story element was to the work I was making. And I'm a huge music head, so it's like the work was always like 50% music, 50% story from my life is what I always tell everybody, because the music almost was constructing the image in my mind from the story from my life. So when it comes to storytelling, what I like to do a lot of times in all my pieces is like I like to take uh, stories kind of like natural occurrences in like the world and compare it to an event in my life or what I'm seeing in life. So I'll give you an example with this one. This is honestly the one I just showed you, Sade, when we was out a few days ago last week. Let me move this table back. I'm not in the little studio today, so we're at the crib. So this one I'm showing you all right here first. You can get it's a little big, but I don't know if you remember me showing you this one. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
thank you. Yeah. So one thing before I get into the story element behind this one is, with every piece, I'm really trying to get this thing in here. With every piece that I make, I work with like a little bit of my team now. My team is composed of like my best friends. So everything from videographers to editors, whatever. So it's like, a big production, everything from the music choice to video editing. You know, it's a whole production for these pieces that I'm creating. So, for example, in this one, it's titled Telescope, and it's titled Telescope because this was about a long distance relationship I was in, and you know, during this was last year, 2020, and so you know, in quarantine, you have a lot of time to sit with your thoughts and really just get to know yourself. So one thing with telling these stories, I really get to know myself a lot more and how my mind works and how I think, how I operate, love wise, friendship wise, whatever. But back to this. So I was saying it's titled Telescope because it's like, you know, when I was in this long distance relationship, you know, this relationship was held together through technology. So like my phone, computer, whatever, you know, and I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And I never really thought I would. And it's a weird realm to be in. And, you know, I was watching a lot of sci-fi movies like The Matrix and Alien versus Predator around this time, Avatar. And I wanted to kind of compare this relationship to um, that of being something, you know, you're really far away from the person that you're feeling or whatever. So that's why it's like, it's the idea of having like, you know, a human interacting with an alien. So it's kind of like I made myself into like an avatar to kind of show that, like, you know, we're galaxies away. The tiger is on there because it symbolizes like determination, because whenever it comes to me being in a relationship or anything, you know, I'm a really determined dude, and I was determined to make this work. So it's just, you know, the aesthetic of like the whole sci-fi theme with the galaxies. And I called it Telescope was because you look through a telescope when you're looking deep into the galaxy. So it was kind of like the phone. It was kind of like a metaphor for like the phone, you know. So that's really how like my mind works when it comes to constructing these pieces, you know. So I know that was a long little ramble, but
No, yeah, I think that's beautiful. And especially when it comes to being able to literally take what you're feeling, what your emotions or a certain situation, and translate that and turn it into art so that not only does it resonate with you now, but you're also touching people who maybe have gone through similar things. And I think that's why it's really dope that you do the storytelling piece with your artwork, because sometimes a lot of art, right, fine art at least, can be left up to interpretation, or art in general. I think sometimes, you have those movies where it's like they don't quite know what happens at the end. You have the books where it's like, okay, you got to use your own imagination.
right,
And I always think that's super amazing because when it comes to art, the way that we are experiencing it is inherently different, but it's similar based on the experience that we potentially might have shared, but just in our unique way. So different people might look at it differently, but the energy that is translated can be similar and translated through each other as well. So
right. No, I agree with you completely. You know, it was funny because I used to be throwing these just up on Instagram or whatever. The only people who knew about the works were like, you know, the story behind them was like my close friends or whatever, because you know I tell them, you know, what was going on in my life, it was some good or bad, you know, so they know about it. But then when I started throwing it up on Instagram, I didn't really ever, or you know, Facebook, whatever, social media, I never really talked about what they were about. And I remember the first show I ever had, you know, and I had probably about like maybe like 5 pieces up there. And I didn't go crazy with the pieces. And, you know, I was talking to people in there, especially, you know, when it comes to talking to guys, you know, about some of this stuff. Cause I know like it's so interesting being like a guy and being so open with something that's going on in my life. You know, Blak too. It's I was talking to them about some of the stuff, whatever I was experiencing, you know, at the time when I had the show, just through the pieces, and you know, just being able to relate with them and just be real, you know what I'm saying? I'd never really had that before, and realizing that, you know, through this power of storytelling, I was building relationships, making really close friends, and just being able to let somebody know, hey, you know, you're not alone in how you feeling about this or that. You know, you really can connect with people, and I feel like it's such a more genuine connection, especially that, because I know that's what I like idolize, and a lot of the musicians or artists that I look up to. You know, it's the honesty and the genuineness of what they making and telling. So.
absolutely. Well, that I really, really appreciate that. Is that the piece that the one piece you were sharing with us?
I got two more right here. So I had this one right here. Oh, and again, this is like way too big for me trying to like fit all the way in this off my couch. But there's another thing I like to do in a lot of the works that I make. I'm just gonna try and balance this on my shoulder, my leg. One thing I like to do, again, like I told you, like I'm a huge, huge music head. So music plays a real important role in every, like, I'm just gonna say production that I make, because it really is that at this point now. I really love to give a different face of Black, if that makes any sense. Just knowing like my upbringing, I was like, just really exposed to a lot of different genres of music, and just I think about like just with people that were in my life. So I was always all over the place when it came to just inspiration. And this piece right here is titled "Trust to Try," and I honestly just dropped a behind the scenes video how I even came up with this one on my Instagram page. I'll drop it in the chat. But yeah, so this one was really about I'm weird because I have like these moments in my life where I'm like, I'm nervous to try something new, and I made this, honestly, I made this in 2019, but I didn't really drop it till 2020. But I have these moments in my life where I'm like nervous to try something new. And like I was telling people, it could be, a job, a friendship, relationship, whatever, you get like that adrenaline rush in your chest whenever you're trying something new, especially when you kind of like, nervous or afraid a little bit. And I wanted to compare that adrenaline rush you feel to like a metal performance. So I really made this piece as a reminder of myself, like it's like, Cameron, trust the process of new. It made me think about like, when because I love metal, I love rock, all genres of sound. So I really kind of channel that genre for each piece. So like that last one I just showed you was kind of more like housey electronic. Like my deep roots is like R&B. So it's like I'm trying to venture out of that now and really show my other tastes. But yeah, so this one is really just, it's a reminder. A lot of my pieces be reminders to myself when I'm not really talking about my relationships or like whatever, they're reminders to let me know like, yo, Cameron, like you made this, trust the process anew, take that leap of faith. It's part of growth. It's part of, growing as a person. So that's why it's called Trust to Try, the adrenaline rush of trying something new and taking that leap of faith. So that's what this one's about. And I don't know if we have time for one more. Okay. You say yeah? Okay. So this is one of my like older ones right here. And I'm trying to get that glare off of it. Yeah, so this one, let's see all this. Now this one is titled Three Way, and this was honestly this wasn't the first one I really made that I was kind of like nervous about showing, because I had to show this to my class at the time, and this was when I was in, oh my God, a mess of a relationship. So, but this is like the start of one, how do I say this? Like me really being comfortable in knowing myself. Like now I definitely know how my mind works and how I can like channel whatever I'm going through into a piece. But with this one, I think I was, how old was I? I had to be like 19 or 20. I had to either be 19 or 20. This is like 2018. And I was like seeing like this dude down here. And it was a time in my life where I was like still trying to figure out like what I really wanted sexually and stuff like that. So it was like I was with this dude right here, and whenever he was like giving me hell, or it just was on the rocks or whatever, I go and mess with this other dude that I was friends with or whatever. And it was kind of like this back and forth between like when one was getting on my nerves, I go with the other one, and and vice versa. And it was just me being young and still not even knowing what I was doing. You know what I mean? With these two people. And the whole time I was going through this, I was just thinking to myself, like, like, wow, like if I really had the right girl, whatever woman in my life, like, not saying that's the right one, but just a depiction of that, maybe I wouldn't even be going through this. So these are like my deep thoughts, you know what I'm saying, really visualized. And I wanted to kind of compare this big mess to like how a galaxy sits. So it made me think about like with the woman being at the center of my mind, I wanted to kind of have her be like the sun in the center of the, you know, our galaxy. And you have these bodies composed of like stars and gases forming the two dudes I was with, kind of circulating around her, the idea of me. And I put the snake in there to kind of just symbolize, like, you know, this is something dangerous what you're doing, Cameron. This is like, you know, it's super sexual, but at the same time, it's like you know, it's something kind of dangerous. So that's why I have me up here at the top with the Aries horns, because I'm an Aries. Just a lot of symbolism going on with a lot of different things. And it was called three-way because it was between me and these two dudes. So I know a lot of people were always confused by that title because it's four people on here, but that's just, again, like, you know, I said, the way my mind works, it's like I'm always uh comparing an event, like I said, like the galaxy, the telescope, the metal performance, to something that I'm experiencing or seeing in my life, so people can understand the weight of what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Well, that is very beautiful. Your pieces are very beautiful. I'm so glad that you were able to come on and to share. And I think that's really important too, to be able to be vulnerable with your art, because I feel like that's really when we get to the best art. And sometimes it's difficult for us to be that vulnerable, right? Because we know, like, okay, I'm gonna show this to the world, like, and then you have those
Yeah.
reservations.
Yeah, look,
um,
I got no fear now. I did probably like 3 years ago when I was like, oh, I don't know how people gonna feel about this. Like, look, now all my cares are like gone. I'll be like, look, I'll show anything at this point. But yeah, no, it's dope though. It's really dope.
that's how it should be, you know.
Yeah.
Proud to create your art, and you're a very talented individual, so it is meant to share with the world. So I'm very glad to have had you here. Definitely, if you want, give yourself a shameless plug, drop your handles and things. And if we have no more questions or anything like that, we will close out this session. Oh my goodness. I don't know if y'all can hear my dog. She sounding real vicious upstairs.
Oh yeah, but before we go, I was gonna say, if anybody wants to see any of these pieces, I have process videos for everything, music behind the scenes. Instagram is CL Jenkins _, so it's CLJENKINS _, and Cameron Jenkins on Facebook.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Cameron. That is it. So we are going to close out this session. So glad you guys joined us. Definitely follow Instagram. I am dropping that in here now. And also, oh, I meant to drop, because someone asked about the articles that we had written. Well, my interns wrote Lotus Foundation. So I'm dropping that in the chat as well. So definitely go check out the website, follow him on Instagram, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And same to you, Cameron. We will, I'm sure, talk links soon.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, peace out. Thanks for having me.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, I didn't have my.
Oh, I was just saying peace out and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Bye, guys.